The story begins with algae collector Kong Yun Moon, who collects algae crystals from the depths of drains, which is a very dangerous profession but does not bring him much money. In another scene, we are shown a world in which humans were able to awaken a supernatural power to fight monsters and the danger behind the cells, and people are arranged by the number of stars. Where people with 0 stars are ordinary and incompetent people. Now we return to the original scene where after the end of the hero's working hours he meets a government employee to tell him that he came to deliver what his father left him, which is a stone of no value in the form of a necklace. The hero holds the necklace tightly, but he is surprised during that by a bright light coming out of the necklace and then transfers him to another place, a destroyed and deserted place, where there is no one, appearing to the hero. A window says that he has achieved the impossible, that he is the last survivor in the level of hell, and that he has also obtained the title of the strongest in hell. During the hero's attempt to rectify the situation, blood gushes from his mouth and he falls to the ground fainting, but he is sure that no one is around and that he was not attacked by someone. A window appears saying that he was killed by fine dust and that the time he stayed alive is 4 minutes and 32 seconds. The hero wakes up again and wonders if what he went through was just a dream, but a window appears again telling him to create a new mission, and the task is that he must survive until sunrise. And after about 1 minute, the hero dies again because of the fine dust, but because of his title the last survivor, the hero comes back to life whenever he dies, and after he died 8 times. The hero collapses psychologically and tries to get rid of this hell by any means, and the hero collects himself and tries to calm down and stay alive for as long as possible. After the passage of time, the hero notices that his resistance to poisons has increased. However, the hero continues to die, and after he died 28 times, the hero feels vital in his body and thinks that he has become stronger, after which he acquires a rare skill called Poisonous Blood, which gives him complete immunity against poisons, and also his blood turns into poisonous blood. The hero wanders around and finds algae crystals of high purity everywhere. Fortunately, he has a store where he can put whatever he wants, so the hero puts the crystals in it. A few minutes later, the hero heard a strange sound heading towards him, and behold, an army of mosquitoes attacked him. The hero tries to escape, but he cannot, so the mosquito kills him.
After the mosquito killed the hero woke up again because of the effect of his title. But this time he found that he had killed more than 100 monsters at once due to the effect of poisonous blood skills. This skill can disassemble anything he touches, and then the hero tries to put together the pieces that he disassembled, and he also acquires a new skill called shaping. Then later the hero finds a newspaper, and while trying to read it he gets a skill called translation, and after reading the newspaper, the hero realizes that the place where he is in it now, it is his real world, but in the future. And since he cannot change anything at this time, he tries to exploit the situation and learn the largest amount of skills. The hero uses the disassembly skill on the mosquitoes that he killed and gets some raw materials, then he uses forging skill on it, and he obtains a rare element called the Arrow of Hell. And so he decides to use the skill of forging on all the materials he previously collected, so the hero succeeds in obtaining a legendary but unknown egg, and during that, out of nowhere, a goblin wearing a red hat suddenly appears and then attacks on the hero. The hero tries to resist in various ways, but the goblin was very fast. And he surprises him and jumps behind him and then hits the hero, but what this goblin does not know is that this person does not die. Since the day has ended, and the hero is still alive, he has successfully completed his mission after dying more than 30 times, and as a reward for completing the mission, he gets a silver chest. But as compensation for the difficulty of the mission compared to the level of the hero, the reward is increased to a golden chest, and after completing the mission, the hero can finally return to his world, and after he arrives, he gets angry a lot of what happened to him, and he tries to break the necklace that was the reason for all that. But after thinking again, the hero concludes that he can gain a lot of benefits through this necklace. After the hero rests and takes a warm bath, he checks the golden box that he got from the mission. After opening the box, he obtains a legendary skill, called the Battle Assistant. And this type of skill is possessed by only 8 people in the world, After that, the hero wants to get some money, so he decides to sell the crystals that he obtained in hell previously. Then the hero goes with his colleague to meet the buyer who paid a huge sum of money to Lot, and after shaking hands with him, the hero realizes that he is not an ordinary person. Then a few days later the hero returns to the world of hell in order to obtain more strength and skills, and after training for a certain period on the skill of the battle assistant. It becomes clear to him that this supernatural skill helps him avoid punches and focus his strength is in one punch. Then a new mission in the first level appears to him, in which the hero must eliminate some puppets. After landing the first punch, all the puppets activate automatically and target the hero, and these puppets are at the first level for each puppet. But at the 7th level combined, which is equivalent to being a guard, a person or soldier with more than 5 years of war experience. The hero gets into a serious situation and uses his battle skills from the start, so dolls surround him from all sides, but the hero hits a punch that shatters the face of one of the dolls. And because of that, the 2nd level of the martial arts is activated in the dolls, so the strength of the dolls increases, so they pin him from all sides and hit him with successive punches. Then the hero dies from the severity of the blows.
After the hero came back to life again, he collects pieces of wood and uses the formation skill on them, thus obtaining a stick with high attack power, so he hits the arm of one of the puppets. But suddenly the puppet data is updated to the 3rd level of martial arts, and this time dummies using all kinds of weapons. After the death of the hero several times, the hero masters the use of battle skill in combat and can overcome and destroy these puppets. The hero is proud of his skills and thinks that the puppets will not be able to defeat him anymore, but after the start of the 4th level of martial arts, the puppets begin to use all known martial arts, such as boxing, karate and taekwondo. After dying many times because of these arts, the hero can finally learn them and use them on the puppets. Time passes and the hero continues to train with these dolls. After a long time, this training finally ends, and then he gets a reward of the legendary degree, which is the Cradle of Bliss, which is a piece of cloth that heals all damages in the body and accelerates growth, but by thinking a little, the hero returns to life when he dies. So this piece of cloth is useless for him. Unfortunately, the hero remembers the egg he obtained earlier, and because of the growth effect of the piece of cloth, it is possible that it will help to hatch the egg. Indeed, it succeeds, and a large light explodes from the egg, and he gets a strange object, which is a little girl that looks like a mosquito. So he checks this object, but the mosquito bit him on his finger, and it seems that she is hungry, so the hero tries to feed her some sweets, but she refuses. And she points to him and the hero understands that she wants his blood, so he allows her to suck some of his blood. The hero tries to inquire about the mosquito to tell him that she made a promise to eat all living creatures when the world ends, and indeed, since this mosquito was able to suck the blood of the hero and nothing happened to her, she may indeed be able to do so, and since he cannot get rid of it, he tries to tame it, and says that it is not allowed to eat humans, especially him, and in return he will allow her to absorb his blood whenever she is hungry, and finally the hero finishes training the puppets. But one of the puppets thrown aside draws his attention as it has been divided into 2 halves. Then a system shows them that he has acquired a new additional feature, which is the energy of courage. And this feature is dependent for his legendary battle auxiliary skills. When the hero tests this attribute,
He smashed the puppet in one fell swoop, and his friend, whom he previously named her, Ririan, wants to try it, so she delivers a devastating punch that completely destroys the doll's head. Later, when the hero was wandering around, the mosquito, Ririan, smelled a delicious scent, and when the hero follows this smell, he finds a skeleton and under his hand a message, saying that 3 years have passed since the difficulty rose to the level of hell, and that the situation is starting to get worse. So most of the children, those who were born in this toxic atmosphere, died as soon as they were born, and the people with the ability to bomb and purify could not bear it, and began to die one after the other, and there was no longer hope for the human race to survive, and that humans are inevitably extinct, and indeed that has happened. Meanwhile, the mosquito Rarian finds a stone with a shape like a star drawn on it, so the hero picks up the stone, so the stone radiates a golden light and then explodes. The hero checks his hand and finds that the logo that was drawn on the stone has stuck to his hand, and then a window appears to him saying that the constellations are watching him. And suddenly a window appears. A black ray surrounds the hero, so Rarian mosquitoes flee quickly and leave the hero to be devoured by this ray, and he is transported to another dimension resembling space. A window appears saying that he has been summoned by the planets, and as for the planets, they are beings that have absolute control over their lands located in somewhere. These beings put their absolute power into fragments of stones and then distribute them to their followers in order for them to become rulers and expand the influence of these constellations. And our hero's user got one of these fragments, so the constellations want him to become one of their followers. And then the hero hears a strange sound and looks up and sees a huge ball is heading towards him, and if there are balls of different colors hovering around the hero and making disturbing sounds, the hero wonders about what they are saying. Then a window from the system appears to him saying that the planets have admired him and his skills and want to invest in him, and that he must choose one planet from them. But the hero gets angry and says that he does not know anything about these planets, so how will he choose between them? So a brief definition of these planets appears first: the Shattered Ghoul planet, which is a planet with a cunning and deceitful plan. Second, the Snake of Greed and Desire, which is a planet with desires and appetites that are never satisfied. Third, the Weeping planet, which is a planet of sadness and gloom, and it also controls an army of the dead. Fourth, the Invading planet, which is a planet specialized in battles and slaughtering enemies. Fifth, the Whispering planet, which is a planet that incites in the light but deceives in the darkness. The hero asks what will change if he chooses one of these planets, and a glimpse of the future appears to him if he chooses each of them, but obtaining such a good thing raises the hero's doubts. And he wonders if he has to pay the price for obtaining this power, so the planets tell him that he only has to follow and serve this being, but the hero hesitates in choosing and says that there is no guarantee or any contract for him to trust them. The constellations say that he will give him more time to think, then return him to where he was. But one of the constellations catches up with him and approaches him and stings him, and it seems that this constellation has granted him a legendary skill called hegemony. The planets can give such legendary skills without any effort, and he thinks that with such skills, the Earth would not have perished or reach its current state. Since he has obtained a large amount of algae crystal, he thinks of buying his own house, but when thinking again he knew that the matter might cause him a lot of problems, because he obtained the money illegally. And that is why he is thinking of registering as a power user in the government association. This is because ability users can reap a lot of profits through dungeons. And the ability users will be tested within 3 days in order to officially register as a capable user. Several tests must be carried out, including a physical strength test, where the tester inserts his hand into one of the devices to hold a glass ball and presses it to measure the strength of the pressure. Unfortunately, the hero breaks the ball easily. So the examiner repeats the test again, but once again he breaks it, and because of that, the examination cannot assess the hero's ability. Because of that, he gave him a result under verification. And when doing other tests, the hero continues to obtain a result under verification. As for the last test, it is a test of the ability of the hunter, where the participants must enter a fake dungeon and fight monsters. During that, one of the union leaders arrives at the test site. And one of the participants, the red butterfly, caught his attention. While browsing the information of the participants in the test, he was surprised by the hero's ability to poison blood, but because of the disadvantages of this skill, where if his blood splatters a little, it will cause great harm to his colleagues. He ignores the heroic guild leader and puts his file on the side. At the beginning of the test, the participants gather at the door of the imaginary cell. And one of the employees gives them a pink stone to each one of them, and goes without saying anything, and the participants go to the cell on the radio. An official explains the rules of the test, where the participants must collect a greater number of stones that were given to them before the test. And the participants were divided into groups of 5 people. Over the next 3 hours they must collect as many stones as possible, and this is either by eliminating the other participants or eliminating the monsters in the cell. But when the test begins, the hero refuses to participate with his group, therefore, because he does not want to divide the prize for the first place with the rest of the members. The hero is about to leave, but one of his colleagues in the group grabs him from behind and tells him that he will not allow him to go until he hands over his stone. The hero gets angry and slaps him in the face, and knocking him on the ground. Then the scales turn and the hero decides to seize the stones of his colleagues instead of the other way around. Because of the strength of the hero, the colleagues surrender quietly and hand over their stones. But the hero wasn't the only one who did so, also the red butterfly took stones from her group mates. After that, the red butterfly faces the first monster from the dungeon, which is one of the monsters that have been created with modern and new technologies. And it is characterized by its exceptional ability to fight, endurance, mana reflection, and also has artificial intelligence. He is skilled in the use of martial skills. And due to the spores of the mushroom beast, he has the ability to self-regenerate, so it is impossible to kill him individually. But if there is a collective action that they work together, then his overthrow becomes possible. Unfortunately, the red butterfly has already abandoned its mates and she is currently fighting the monster on her own. The guild leader monitors the participants through the external screen and one of the participants draws his attention, the hero Kangmu, who has already destroyed many monsters on his own. And that the task was very easy for him. Then an announcement appears that half an hour has passed, and that 30% of the tiles have changed their owner. So they will announce the winners of the first 3 places. In third place is Hong Ryan with 7 tiles. In second place is Red Butterfly with 9 tiles. In first place is Kang Mo with 16 tiles, so the hero Kang Mo gets first place at the moment, after the hero finished eliminating the monsters easily. He collects the skins of the bog monster and decides to use the formation skill that he obtained previously, thus obtaining armor for the hands and legs and heading to search for more. And the red butterfly feels nervous because it could not overtake the hero Kang Mu. And at this moment a large group of people appears trying to attack the red butterfly and avoids their attack by jumping high, and through her graceful and dazzling movements, she is able to skip their blows and then attack them to eliminate several of the participants. Then a person comes from afar, destroying everything in front of him, and it turns out that she is her friend Hong Ryan. And the red butterfly ignores its friend and jumps high. Returning to the hero, who was wandering around, he feels something approaching him at a crazy speed, and when the red butterfly appears from nowhere, without any hesitation, it attacks the hero. So the hero confronts its attacks with difficulty. Without the battle aid skill, it would have been difficult to counter her powerful attacks. The hero sees that the battle has become difficult. He decides to use the skill that he did not want to use before, because it may pose a great danger to humans, which is the skill of courage energy. The red butterfly rushes towards King Mo and collects his energy in his right hand. Then the two collide and the energy explodes everywhere. Because of this collision, the red butterfly's arm is shattered, and then the hero asks her to hand over her jewels. Indeed, the red butterfly surrenders and throws her jewels on the ground. But without any prior warning, his friend, the red butterfly, appears and pushes him hard. The hero collides with the ground and pushes against the wall with force. Of course, she was angry because the hero had hurt her friend. The hero gets up angry and says that he will not let this pass. But the officials suddenly announce that the time is up and that they will announce the results of the test. In the third place, with 21 stones, the owner of the glasses. In the second place, Kang Mo, with 69 stones, and in the first place, the red butterfly, with 88 stones, because her colleague had given up her stones for the red butterfly before she rushing towards the hero. The hero feels disappointed, but ignores it. However, his butterfly friend continues to annoy the hero and says that he should apologize for what he did with her hand. The hero tries to control himself, but she intervened in his fight, and because of her, he lost first place. And now she wants him to apologize, so the hero reaches his limits and decides to teach her a lesson, so he sends a thin thread that he wraps around her neck, then he activates the domination skill. A group of large and frightening monsters appears, but no one else seems to see them, and a state of panic hits her, and she starts screaming loudly, then falls to the ground. The hero did not expect that the effect of this skill would be so strong, so he runs away. When King Mu reached the resting area, he sat down and rested, looking quite tired. Because his domination skill drained a lot of mana, a person in a black suit approaches Kang Mu and hands him the Tyson Guild business card. In another scene, we see the guild leader, Li Jin, who was waiting in the car, and who was impressed by Kang Mu's skills, and therefore wanted to include him in the guild, but his escort returns and apologizes because he could not recruit him. After that, the hero returns home, and on his way back, his colleague asks him about the box that he has, and it seems that this box is the prize for the first place, which the red butterfly delivered to him as a form of apology. They are rare gloves that increase strength and defense. When the hero arrives at the house, he smells an ominous smell, then his expressions change completely, and he turns back, and it seems that he has sensed something dangerous nearby. He tells his colleague not to go out until he returns. He heads towards the alley and finds a pile of corpses, as well as the old man, Park Hosen, who bought algae crystals from him previously, and says that these are gang members from Japan who came in search of the mysterious crystal, and asks the hero about the reason for his presence. The old man says that he wants to offer an alliance with the Tyson Vale, so the hero told him that he had already rejected their offer. But it seems that the old man does not accept rejection as an answer, so he attacks without listening to him. The hero avoided the attack with difficulty and responded with an energy punch. It seemed that he had previously worn gloves, so the old man took out his sword, which was hidden in the stick, and Mo faced great difficulty in dealing with the sword. But with the help of the skill of the battle assistant, he manages to avoid the blows and jumps high, away from the range of the sword, but very quickly, the old man approaches him and hits his head. And the hero takes advantage of the old man approaching him and grabs his neck, and he uses his dominant skill. The old man loses consciousness. So he tries to pull him by his collar to hit him on the ground, but soon the old man regains consciousness and directs his sword towards the hero's neck, then blood explodes from the hero. But fortunately from his hand, not from the neck. This is because the old man did not want to kill him. The hero laughs hysterically because the old man has neglected the most important skill of the hero, which is poisonous blood, which corrodes his sword and becomes unusable. He takes advantage of his chances and grabs the old man's face with his fist and crushes him against the wall. The old man grabs his hand and hits his elbow on the hero's elbow, breaking it completely. Then kicks him away, and takes out a box of high-quality medicine to use, but even before it takes effect, the hero gets up well. This is because of his title, The Last Survivor, which activates when the health drops below 10%. The old man gets up and says that he came to offer a deal, not to fight, and that this was a test to check the background of the hero, so he offers to join him again. The hero refuses again, but in return he offers the old man an offer. It seems that the hero has admired the old man's skills, so he tries to hire him, and says that the leader of his union is a famous person in the media only, so he must abandon them and join him. The old man marvels at his arrogance and says that he is either an idiot who is unaware of what is around him, or a loser with big dreams. Then he draws his sword again, and the hero thinks that that sword will not help him with anything. But when the old man waves the sword, an energy beam comes out of it, shattering the wall behind the hero. Then the old man says, if he wanted to kill him, he would have done it a long time ago and easily, and he would not have been able to resist. Also, the Bison Guild contains many people who are stronger than him, so a person with this weakness has no right to speak ill of it, but it didn't affect Kang Ho. But he was sure that he would become better than the guild master Liji, but it's easier said than done, so the old man says that the guild leader, after only half a year of becoming a hunter, managed to reach level 20, that anyone else, even if he was a genius, would have taken it at least a year. So if he was not able to reach that, he might prove his capabilities, but not within a year or even half a year. The hero offers to reach level 20 within 2 weeks only, because he wants to prove that he is better than the guild leader and not only at the same level, which has been provided all he has needs and all the private facilities, but he could not do that, so if the hero wishes to do that, he must have a better place than him. The hero smiles and says, don't worry, I have a special place. Indeed, he wasted no time. After returning to Hell, he began hunting monsters in large quantities, but even weaker ones have the ability to resist, and during the hero's beating of one of the goblins, he broke his bone and then he crushes his head on the ground, but the hero is not affected by that even a little bit, that because before entering Hell, he was only at the 10th level. But now he has already reached the 15th level, due to the intense hunting of monsters. Later, the hero's body reaches its limits, so he decides to take a break, but Renian was waiting for the hero to get her meal, and she gets her rewards after a long wait. While feeding her, the hero thinks that this level does not pose any threat to him, but only one goblin is the one who can cause problems, and he is the one with the red hat, and the biggest fears often become true. The goblin with the red hat appears from behind the hero, but this time he completely ignores the hero and goes directly towards his people. Mo, come to me, and after a while a message appears. The survival time has passed for 12 days and 6 hours. It seems that the goblin was very angry, as the hero could not resist, but the goblin's anger did not end with that. Once the hero was revived, the goblin quickly pounces on him and kills him again, and is repeated several more times, and the hero decides to confront him finally and punches him with energy. And the hero seems confident of himself and says, "Well, I just need to confront you," and the hero is cut up before he finishes his words, and the massacre continues against the hero. For a while, the hero manages to somehow escape, and for several days the goblin with the red hat cannot find him, so he thinks that he has escaped. A member of the goblin tribe appears and tells him that something terrible has happened. Someone poisoned the drinking water, which led to the death of many, and after he returns and checks the matter himself, he knows that the only one who can do this is that human. So he goes to look for him again, and the goblin's colleagues try to stop him, since his enemy is able to return to life whenever he dies. But he doesn't care about that. While they are going to look for him, they find the corpse of one of the poor, and he has traces of poisoning on it. The goblin concludes with the red caps that this may be a trap to lure them out of the village. So he orders the others to return to protect the members of the tribe. As for him, he will go to find him. Despite the hero's rapid growth, the goblin thinks that he is able to overcome him, because he memorized his style by fighting. But the goal of the hero was not the goblins in the village. Rather, it was the goblin with the red hat from the beginning. Since he became lonely, the hero himself appears and says, "I will give you a chance, O goblin, the chance to die at my hands." The goblin knows that the hero is almost immortal, and that whenever he dies, he miraculously returns to life. As for him, if he dies, it will be his end and the end of all members of the tribe with him, so the demon promised the hero that he would keep him alive, but after he cut off all his limbs. But Mo did not care about that and said that he would eliminate the members of his tribe before he did so. It is the price, so there is nothing wrong with that, but you have to leave the members of the tribe in peace, and this was the end of the goblin of the red hat. Or at least this is what the hero thought. Kang Mo beat the hit with difficulty, but the goblin had already gained the advantage. Then he continued to attack, hitting and cutting the hero. Would make sure to torture him as much as possible, but since the goblin always eliminated the hero quickly, he did not allow him the opportunity to study all the skills of the hero, and the title of the last survivor does not return the hero only to life. But when the health decreases to less than 10%, but the rapid regeneration is activated, the hero took advantage of the opportunity and clenched his fist on the goblin's neck. Then hit a strong punch and followed it up with a stronger punch than it. The goblin flies away, then the hero pounces on him and crushes him against the wall. And with this the situation turns upside down, then the hero falls on him and let out all the anger that was inside him. Back to the first meeting of the goblin with the hero. His level was very low if he was dying quickly, and when he reached the 15th level, he was already exhausted from killing many monsters. If the opportunity did not allow him to show his fighting skills, which made the goblin lower his guard, and this was his only mistake. The goblin begged for his life after realizing that he would die, but the hero had already learned his lesson, and this time it was the end of the goblin and the red hat, really, he organized. Finally, after he got his revenge, the hero breathes happy and gets a silver chest reward, which turns into a golden chest and rises 3 levels. And by calculating the experience he obtained previously, the hero reaches level 20, but there is something that puzzled the hero. The goblin's physical strength was very high, so the hero tries to inspect his body to discover the secret behind that, then finds strange writings on his arm, but the writing fades suddenly from his hand and gather in the form of a black ball in the sky, then it penetrates the hand of the hero and a message appears. He absorbed the shattered planet and obtained a legendary skill. Then the hero returns to his world and goes to meet the old man, and since he has reached level 20, he has won the bet.